Expand your mind. Of course, by now, everyone probably knows that the brain is responsible for everything that makes us who we are. From our memories and our personality, all the way to how fast our heart beats and how fast we breathe in a minute. But what a lot of people don't know is what happens when something goes wrong. What can make someone so depressed to the point of suicide? What can make someone so ecstatic that they would take risks that they otherwise wouldn't have taken? What makes someone so anxious that they can't sit still and they can't think about what they're supposed to think about at the moment? To understand this, we first need to understand how the brain works. So the brain takes everything, every signal that comes to it, and converts it into an electrical signal, like an electric wire, like a computer. Now your brain has 100 billion of these electrical wires, and it converts that electrical signal into a chemical signal called a neurotransmitter. And those neurotransmitters are responsible for every signal that either comes into the brain or leaves the brain by an order given by the brain. Now, when there are problems with these neurotransmitters, we see problems with the functioning of an individual. Let's say we're looking at a neurotransmitter like serotonin. Let's say someone doesn't have enough serotonin, or not enough serotonin is getting to where it's supposed to be. That person will most likely have depression. And it's important to know that depression is not the same thing as sadness. You can't come up to a person who's depressed and tell them, come on, get out of bed, you'll feel better. So let's look at something like dopamine. Let's say someone doesn't have enough dopamine. Well, they could most likely have something like ADHD, in which case they would have trouble with the reward system. They would have difficulty paying attention, but they could also be hyperactive as a kid, or they might have difficulty with working as an adult. ADHD is not so much a difficulty with attention as much as it is a difficulty with reward. You're not finding the things that you're doing rewardful enough as a person who doesn't have ADHD would. Now, let's say a person has too much dopamine. Well, they could have something like schizophrenia, where they can imagine that their voice is speaking to them, or individuals that they see or objects that they see that aren't really there, but they have a difficult time telling whether they really are there or not. And in most cases, these patients are actually convinced that these things are real. Other things that can happen with an increase in dopamine could be something like delusional disorder, where an individual could be like, my wife is cheating on me, my wife is cheating on me, I know it, without any proof. They could also be another type of delusion that they could have is, oh, I'm oppressed, oh, no one likes me, no one that, I'll never succeed at anything, everyone's always conspiring to get rid of me, everyone's always plotting tricks of how they can hurt me and things like that without any evidence. And that's another major problem that individuals with neurotransmitter imbalances can have. Keep in mind, we're only scratching the surface of the brain. We don't fully understand everything. But what we do understand is when there is a problem in the way individuals connect with other individuals, or if there's a problem that impedes how people function in their daily life, we know that it has something to do with the brain. Now, when an individual has something like heart disease or lung cancer or hepatitis or kidney failure, people sympathize with them, people help them out, people understand their struggles, or at least they try to understand their struggles. But with a person with a mental health issue, society always seems to put them down. Society always seems to cast them out or look at them as individuals who don't necessarily belong or individuals who don't necessarily fit with society. And that's really cool, because if you think about it, individuals who suffer from mental health problems really want to get better. They really want to have a quote-unquote normal life. They really want to be able to interact with their community, but they can't. And they struggle, and they suffer with that every single day. So it's enough, the struggle that they're going through. It would be cruel to add more of a struggle for them by not treating them the way they deserve to be treated, which is like any human being you normally would. Because it's important to understand mental health issues and how the brain works and how these things really are biochemical. They're not someone pretending to be something for attention or otherwise. It's important to understand these things so they could get the help they need. And so that everyone could get the help they need. Because these things are a lot more common than we think, and it's not a clear-cut line of, oh, this person is mentally sick, oh, this person is normal. There's a spectrum. And you can have certain issues at one point and then outgrow them, or you could be completely fine and under a certain amount of stress end up having certain issues. And it's important to spread awareness about these things so that we can treat them the way they should be treated. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.